Today I want to start with a paheli. What changes you without asking for your permission? What breaks you and builds you at the same time? What feels like an ending but is secretly just a beginning? Anyone? Turning points. Well, life, it doesn't come with a script. And being an actor, I am used to scripts, cues, retakes. But life, it doesn't come with any of this. It only comes with moments and accepts you to become a new person on the other side of them. And one such moment happened with me in a restaurant. You know, sometimes these moments, they feel not important at all. And for me, I was just sitting in the restaurant with my friends, eating, talking, chilling, just like any normal girl in her early 20s. And someone came up to me and asked, "Would you be interested in a print shoot?" And that one question, it changed everything. Because I didn't know what that world would look like. I didn't know if I would succeed. I didn't even know if this would be just a one-time project. But all I knew was that I had a choice. Well, I come from a very traditional Muslim family, and no one in my family is even entered the glamour field. So it was not a very simple decision for me. It was like stepping into a completely unknown new world. But you know, there was someone who made this choice easy for me. My mother. She believed in me before I believed in myself. And it was because of her that I became the first person in my family to enter into the glamour world. And that one yes was the beginning of everything. Well, and then life gave me another turning point. Something that I was not prepared for. I lost my mother, and after her, I didn't know what I would do. I didn't know where my life is going to go without her. What would I do? And that's the thing about life, it doesn't pause even if you're not ready. It keeps moving and it keeps moving until along the way, you find your strength. That's when I realized that turning points, they don't always feel like growth. Sometimes it just feels like survival. And in the midst of all this, when life felt uncertain, I found something that grounded me. Travel. I started traveling, doing solo trips, even trekking. Just me and myself. And in those moments, I realized that when you're trekking on the mountain, you don't see the entire path. You only see your next step. And that's the thing with life as well, right? Well, I just loved it. I was the happiest out here. It felt so good. Well, as you all know that we all love to have some clarity in life. Before we take the next step, we want to know, the bits of it, having some clarity. But to be very, very honest with you guys, most of my life, I had no clarity. Like when I signed Nagin, I didn't know it would be such a massive hit. In fact, I didn't even know what the character of Shesha would be after 4 episodes. It was just stepping into the unknown. And when I look back, I realize that Shesha, she's not just a character, but the defining part of Nagin's journey. And that's the thing about turning points. When you're in them, they look very ordinary. But some of the major changes in life, they come disguised in small choices. Well, during my journey, I was also faced with a pattern. A pattern of how the world started seeing me. As you all know, I started my career with positive roles. And then, in the initial phase, I also did negative character in the show Amrit Manthan. After which, I was only getting offers of negative roles of the same space. Now in our careers, people love to label us, like she's this type, she fits only that kind of role. And we know, labels are very comfortable. The world, it makes the world very, very predictable. But I realized that growth happens only when you outgrow these labels. So I had a choice to make. Either I choose what comes to me very easily, or I choose what helps me to grow. So I chose to wait. I said no to characters that didn't excite me at all. Even though saying no felt very risky. Because as an actor, it's like out of sight, out of mind, financial stability. But I didn't want to be reduced to just playing one kind of character. And then, something very interesting happened. I was offered Comedy Nights Bachao. And at the same time, I was stepping into Nagin. Now both were completely different worlds. On one side, I am playing a negative character on screen. And on the other side, I am doing comedy with Krishna Abhishek, Sudesh Lahiri, Bharti Singh. And honestly, I had never done comedy before. Nor I had done non-fiction. So it was, again, another unknown world. But I said a yes anyway. And what amazed me was that people accepted both sides of me. They watched me playing negative character in Nagin, and they also laughed with me on stage when I was doing comedy. And that's when I realized that we don't just have one identity. We have many. And the world will try and put us in that box. But we don't have to stay there. We can step out and redefine ourselves again and again and again. Well, after this, again, in my journey, I also realized that, sometimes these turning points, they don't just change your life. It sometimes introduces you to yourself. And that happened with me when I did Fear Factor Khatron Ke Khiladi. I absolutely didn't know I'm going to be so fearless. I didn't know I'm going to be so calm with all the creepy crawlies on me. And I was even given the title of Creepy Crawly Queen. given a hashtag by people, silent killer Adaa. It was unbelievable. And there were certain stunts that I thought I can never do. Like, I'll give you a small experience of mine. So there was this there was this stunt, which was mirchi gas stunt, where we were kept in the chamber full of mirchi gas. I was the only girl against 4 guys. And we had to sit in that chamber. And from the time when I was sitting there, the only thing going on in my mind was, will I be able to do it? Will I be able to do it? I can't do it, I can't do it. But there was something inside me that just kept saying, don't give up. Don't give up, you know? And when I completed the stunt, and I was the only girl left in that chamber by then, I realized that I had actually made a record of 20 minutes in Khatron Ke Khiladi. Nobody has done that. It was like creating history. And Rohit Shetty sir came up to me and said, "Ek nari, sab pe bhari." And that's when I realized that we all live with different versions of ourselves that we haven't met yet. So, yeah. So yes, I know that all of us out here, we are still figuring life out. What is right, what is wrong, having so many doubts, what should be my next step. But what I realized is that life is not a multiple choice question, and nor there is a single right answer. It's just your path. And I realized, yes, there will be failures, there will be mistakes. But I also realized that failures, it's not the opposite of growth. In fact, it is a part of it. So in life, whatever is happening to us, sometimes it doesn't need to make sense. We only get answers later. And that's the thing about life. It is a paheli. We don't always need to get answers immediately. So when you are thinking that in life nothing is going right, everything feels like nothing makes sense, life is uncertain, you're full of doubts, full of questions, maybe you're standing at a turning point. And there's my final paheli for you all before I leave. What shapes your life more than your talent, more than your plans, more than your circumstances? It's your willingness to evolve. Thank you so much, guys.